Hello, wonderful people. It's your boy Papa Django, and I'm back with a big banger tutorial as usual. You guys know I've been MIA, missing in action for about a month or two now. It was due to some reasons. First, I wasn't feeling well. Second, I wasn't having the right or the good equipment for recording or teach you efficiently. So I had to lay low and to gather some funds to get some few equipment. So I am back, and I'm back to continue my wonderful series of building a full stack Udemy clone using Django Rest framework and the NextJS with Postgres as our DB and Stripe for our payment services. So this is the wonderful thing that we have been building throughout a couple of months now. So we are done with the back end totally. So we are yet to move to the front end. And I know you guys have been buzzing me. Some of you have been messaging me on LinkedIn, and some of you have been sending me email to asking me when I'm going to continue. So I am back with a Christmas gift to continue my series and eventually finish it before this year ends. So I hope I'm able to keep my promise, and I'm surely going to do it. So, as I said, we are going to use NextJS. So you can see from here, this is their website, and says it's the React framework for production. It is so good. I usually don't like React because I am a Vue person, but NextJS is another. It's a new ball game together. So you guys should really check it out. The docs are super easy to understand, and the benefits are crazy. Image optimization, analytics, zero config, server-side rendering, and static-side rendering. It's a lot. It's a lot. So you guys should just dive into the docs, and you guys are going to love it. Okay, so as you know that I am a Tailwind boy, I always and will always use Tailwind. So this project is also going to use Tailwind. Okay, so we are going to kickstart our app. So we go to the directory where we want to sorry, I just started using the Mac, so I don't I get confused with some of their functionalities. Okay, so you guys should pardon me if I keep making silly mistakes. All right, so go to the directory where you want to store your project. I'm keeping mine inside this recording file, so I'm going to start a terminal session. Okay, so you guys should expect a lot from me. As you can see, I'm building a couple of projects here. All are amazing ones. I have GoFundMe, I have TikTok, some other couple of projects that are hidden, and some of those which you guys requested, and I'm also working on that. So let me give you a spoiler alert with my GoFundMe project that I'm working on. Sorry for the side step. I hope my internet is even fast. Okay, so it seems I'm having some Heroku problems, but let's refresh. Okay, so this is what I'm working on. Beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's almost the same clone as the original GoFundMe, but it's left with some few patches. Then I'll be done. So let's go back and continue. So you guys should expect that one. I bought that one with the NextJS, which is a backend framework for backend framework for Node.js, which is a JavaScript framework, JavaScript runtime. Sorry. Oh, it's been so long I recorded that I'm even shaking my voice. So I'm going to run this command. This command I just copied, pasted here. Then I add the name of the application, which is going to be Udemy Clone, or let's just call it Udemy. And let's hit enter. We are going to give it some time for it to run. So I'm going to pause it and come back when it is done. Okay. So while this installation is ongoing, if you think you are new to JavaScript or the React framework or the NextJS, so it's going to be difficult for you. so you want to shy away, I'm going to encourage you to please stay. I'm going to try my best as much as possible to explain things to the barest minimum, so that you'll be able to follow along and understand what is going on. Okay, so please stay along. If you are new to the channel, don't let me say it, please subscribe, because I have a lot of crazy stuff for you guys. And if you are already subscribed to the channel, like my videos and share it to your friends as well. Okay guys, so if you guys have successfully run the command, this should output and it should be done. So when you are done, you cd into the Udemy file, then you run this command. Let's see if you are using yarn, so let's just copy these ones. So copy, where is the terminal? So if you are not sure of whether it's npm or yarn, so you can check from here. I use yarn because I have yarn on my machine. So you're going to use yarn.add, then paste this thing over here. Let's put the --dev over there. --dev. I think this is the right way. Okay, so it is installing. Okay, with that one done, let's run the last command, which is the npx tailwind, and so it creates the tailwind config file for us. Paste it here. Okay, so that one has been done. Let's see if we have any other things we are supposed to do. Okay, so inside the config file, you are just to add this content over here. So let's copy this thing over here, copy it. Then now let's open it in our favorite code editor. Mine is, as usual, Visual Studio Code. So I'm opening it in that one. Let me make it large so that we can be zipping through using the Mac star. Okay, so here up in the context here, you are going to change this thing here. Let me save it for me. Okay, beautiful. So we can close this thing over here. Then we are going to add this thing to the config inside the styles.c. What's the name? Add the @tailwind directive for each tailwind layer as your styles. Okay, let's do that. So let's copy this thing over here. Copy, then go into our styles, the global. Then let's replace everything totally with this. All right. Then the next thing is that we are done with this, guys. So let's go back. Then let's run our application. Let's open the terminal. Then run yarn dev. If it is npm you used, it is npm run dev. Then run it, and we have our server running. Okay, see how fast it is. If it was the old machine, we will be suffering. And oh, okay, so it's running on port 3000, I guess. Okay, so there's it. Beautiful, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, so we can delete this thing too. So we are going to do some few cleanups. Let's delete this. Let's move to delete. Okay, you are breaking some stuff. So it says, I think it is imported somewhere. So let's go to our pages and up. Where is this thing imported at? So it's imported at home. Okay, let me find for it. I think it's been used somewhere. Okay, there's it. All right. Okay, there are some things you are not going to need. So let's just relax. Let's just relax for the meantime. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you how we are going to break down our application and how we are going to go about it. Okay, so you are new to Next. If you are new to Next, this is for you. Okay, so in Next, we don't do routing. Our routing is handled for us by the Next package itself. So it uses the file name. So the files here. So we are going to have, so when you go to the index page, which is the localhost 3000, sorry, let me refresh this thing over here. Really? I'm getting styles problem. Okay. Sorry. Take away this thing over here. Let me look for anything that is style. Control D. Wow, this is so deep. Okay, do you know what? Let's take away everything out. Yeah, let's take away everything out. Sorry, I'm breaking up things. Oh, this is what happens if you decide to stay away from recording for almost 2 months. Begin to forget everything. Let's take out everything. It should go away. Let's put just okay. Think I'll be needing some stuff. What's the name? H1. Wow, I don't have emit. Okay, so hello world. Okay, let's save this. Wow, we still having errors. Okay, so I think the last one is from here. Let's just take out this. Okay, so you see you have hello world. So if you go to the index page, this is what is going to load. So when you create another, let's say we create another file of, let's create a file first, comment.js. Let's use RFC. So I'm using an extension from Visual Studio Code called the ES7. That's what helps me. ES7, this package, this extension, you can install it so you get access to the shortcut that I do. Hello comment. Okay, so let's go to /comment. You see, that's what you get. So it uses the name of the file. So if it is a folder, it is going to do the same thing for it, but it's going to use the index page. So that's how you are going to do it. Okay, so as you follow along, you are going to get it. Don't worry, it's very simple and very good to use. Okay, so okay guys, so welcome back. Okay, so I went on a little pause, so let's continue. So I hope you get the main concept of the routing that I was trying to talk about. So let's delete this file. So this is how we are going to break down our application. We are going to work with the authentication flow first. So we are going to build the whole logic about the authentication. Then we are done. We move to building the UI part. Okay, so we are going to do it some server-side rendering, the auth context provider, and all those stuff. And whilst you go along, I'm going to explain what is the context provider and or what goes into it. Okay, so don't worry if you are new. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is, for organization's sake, we are going to create a new folder called context. That's where we are going to keep all our context providers. So we're going to create our new context. That is going to be the auth context here, the JSX. So we are going to call most of our components and context JSX, so I will be able to get the emit functionality in it. Okay, so that is it. So the first thing that you are going to do is you are going to import in the create context, which is if you don't know what context is, the context is like a wrapper around the whole application. That's how it helps us be able to share data. Okay, so instead of passing the data through the component, we have one single source of truth where we keep our states, and all our components have access to it as far as they are inside their context. Okay, so let's import the create context. So let's create context. Okay, sorry, it has been imported up there for me. Then the next thing, so we are going to create the context over here. So let's create a const auth context. Then it's going to be equal to create context. All right. The next thing that you are going to do is you are going to use the context. So okay, so go back. So now we are going to use this context we have created. So this context that we have created gives us a provider that is like a wrapper around all our components. So sorry, I'm going to auth context dot provider. So that's what is going to provide the state to the other component that are going to be found inside it. Okay, so the components are going to be received as children, yeah, as a prop called children. Then we are going to render them here children. All right, then for the things or the state that we want to share, that we are going to pass them down as value. Okay, all right, so let me okay, so I'm going to try and make it a little bit nicer. Let me do some refactoring. Sorry, Control Shift F. Okay, let's use this one. Sorry for this. Wow, it looks very ugly than I thought. Okay, but let's keep it this way. Okay, so we have this. So the next thing that we are going to define is, I said we are going to define the states that are going to be around, that are going to be shared by all the components that are wrapped inside the auth context provider. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is it's going to be the first state you are going to have is the user. So first set user, then you are going to use state. Okay, so you can see it has been auto imported for me. So by default, you are going to go with null. Okay, the next thing you are going to have is another state called the auth error that is going to handle all our errors for the auth process. So set auth error. My spelling mistakes are setting again, even on a new machine. Sorry guys. States, and also it's also going to be now. So this user over here, later you are going to change it and use one from Redux. So you are going to implement Redux in a later session. Okay, so yeah, our final thing is going to be auth ready. That is going to tell us that the authentication has been checked. Okay, so set auth ready. Okay, so that one is also going to be false by default. Okay, all right. I don't like how this thing is looking at all. Okay, this is how I want it to look like. Sorry, let me wrap this thing. Let me try the last one. Still, it took it away, and it makes my work more difficult. Let's forget about this, guys. I just not serious. I just want you guys to see everything clearer so that you'll be able to follow me. All right, this is how I like it. It's fine now. So we are going to export this stuff, this states here. So first you export user auth error. Okay, so with those two things exported, the auth thread we are going to use here to check whether our auth has been checked even before rendering anything on the page. Okay, so let's paste that one here. So you are going to use a condition to check that. All right, so we said this is the auth context, so it's going to house everything about auth. So the first thing that we are going to have is what? Sign up. So let's put down, sorry, The next thing we are going to have is login. That's what the next thing we are going to have is logout. Then the last thing you are going to do is clear the user, so that whenever the user logs out or whenever we need to clear the user from the state, we'll be able to do it easier. Okay, so that's the purpose of that one. Okay, so you can see we having some errors. I don't know where they are coming from, but let's take them out. Okay, sorry about that. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to build the sign up function. So that is what you're going to do. So sign up, and it's going to be an arrow function. Okay, let's do same for the other three too. So copy that one. Let's paste it down. Okay, let's change the name to login, logout, then clear user. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of the sign up functionality. Okay, so first we are going to use a popular idea of NextJS of server-side rendering. So one advantage of server-side rendering is that it's going to help us store our tokens or our JWT tokens safely. That is going to be a server-side token. That means you can't access it with normal JavaScript in the browser, so we are free from XSR or CSRF attacks. Okay, so that's how you are going to go with it. So first, we are going to have our own. So I told you that this pages folder handles the routing. This is the index page, and this is the API router. Okay, so if you go to let's go to API/hello. See that we get this data, so we can, it serves as a form of an express kind of a backend or API. Okay, but it is running it is using Express. Okay, let me use that. Express is a framework, a JavaScript backend framework. Okay, so let's take out, we are going to delete this one over here, so let's delete it. Then so we are going to create our own API course. So we are going to have one for sign up, so it's signup.js, another one for login. So all our authentication services are going to be passed to the backend. Okay, so that it's become more secure. Then the last thing we are going to have is checking for which user is logged in. Okay, but that one we do that later. So let's focus on the sign up. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do with the sign up is that we are going to make a request. So const res is going to go to await, and I love using fetch. So we are going to make a request to the NextJS backend, which is going to be HTTPS on our local host, port 3000, that's where it is running, and /API, then /sign up, which is the name of the file. Okay, so that because this thing is going to be used multiple times and it will change when we go to production, it is sensible to keep it in a config file. So we are going to create a config file. So first create a folder, call it config, then we keep one here, going to be call it app.js because we are going to have just one. Then first you are going to export a const called next backend, because we are going to have our own backend URL. Okay, then let's go and copy this whole link over here. Let's copy this whole thing, Control X, let's cut it, paste it here. All right, then let's save it. Then wherever that we need it, we can just import that one. So import NextJS backend. Okay, there's it. Sorry. So now we can use it in a template string. All right. Sorry. Okay, so this is how, so now it's more reusable and everyone can access it. So the method that we are going to use is a post. It's going to be a post. This looks a little bit weird, but we are going to, when we start writing the functionality, you understand it. And it is going to receive a content type of application /JSON. Okay. Then the last thing that we need is the body. Okay. So when you are signing in, when you are signing up on our application, if you remember from the backend that we created, we need the email, the password, and the name of the person signing up. So it means that this function is supposed to take those arguments for us. Okay, so let's copy them, then paste it here. All right, so this is how it's going to be like. So after this request is done, we are going to check if the rest it's okay. So it's going to have that it's okay property on it. So if it is okay, we are going to await a login. So if it's the registration is able to go on successfully, we are going to go ahead and log in the user. Okay, and we are going to pass it the name. So since you are going to use what's the name, the await keyword over here, this function should be async. Okay, async function, and this one too. So async. All right, so we are going to log in. So when you are logging in, what do we need? We need the email and the password. All right, so this one here has to be destructured. Okay, we're going to pass in email and the password. All right, like that. So else if it is not okay, which means that there was some sort of problem, then we are going to go ahead and check if the error is from the name. So we are going to have the data. So first let's get the data from this request. So it's going to be called data, then await rest.json. Okay, so that is going to return to us the data. So we check if the data.name, if the data.name, it means if there's a property called data.name, it means that the error is coming from the name. Okay, so we are going to set auth error to data.name.0, which is going to be the error type. Okay, so let me start the back end and let me show it to you. Okay, well, how do I even start it? Control Shift N, then Control R, Command R, sorry. Command R. Oh, that's not how we do it. No. Okay, that's Control R. What's the name? Udemy Clone. Then we are going to have start up our application. So let me, okay, then we are going to source in our .env file. Okay, then we are done Python manage.py run server. Okay, so as I'm continuing, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. If you're an old member, please like the video and comment video. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. Okay, So I'm going to use my standard client as usual, my standard client. So it's going to be HTTP. Oh no, let's make a new request. It's going to be a post one. Okay, sorry. Let's do a HTTP / localhost port 3000. No, port 8000. That's where Django runs / API. But I'm not even sure. It's been a while since I even opened this thing. So let's go to users, go to URLs. Where is it? Do you even have a URL over here? Let's check for me. Okay. /auth. Okay. Do you even need to add a URL? Okay, /auth. Let's send it. Okay, saying it doesn't even exist. Wow, that's weird. Okay, since you made this the last post is not allowed. Wow, weird. Okay, guys, so I had to go off to find the route because it have been a while since I did this backend. So this is how the errors are going to come. Like this. It so you check for the particular field password. So that's what you are doing. So we check for data.name. If it is there, we take the first error. It's going to be always 1. That's why you don't see that much. Okay. Okay, so for that, the one for the name error. So we are going to get the other one for the email error. So if yeah, we're going to check for data.email, and we're going to set auth to data.email. Get the first one. All right. The only one that might have multiple ones are the password. So which is going to be the last option. So set auth error, go to data.password.join. So we're going to call the join and pass it the new line character. Okay, so that is it for the what's the name, the sign up. So it's left for us to write the server side function. So we are going to do the same we are going to finish everything for the login, logout, then we go into the server side functions. Okay, so let's jump into the login. So it's almost going to be the same thing. So let's just copy the logic from here. No, let's do it so that it becomes more, you become more used to it. Okay, so fetch, then we are going to use our template string, then get backend next backend, that's the name we called it, slash login, which is going to point to this login file over here. Then we pass in our config, which is going to take in method as post. Then the next thing is going to take is headers. Headers. Oh, sorry, my bad. Control Z, Command Z. I always get it mixed up. Okay, then we're going to have content dash type. Okay, I want to keep this video as short as possible, but it seems it's going far. I like to explain the stuff so that everyone gets their fair share of it. Then the next thing we are going to pass along is the body. Okay, so the body here should be a JSON body. So we made a mistake. Let's wrap it around JSON.stringify. Okay, that's the same thing you are going to do for this one too. JSON.stringify. Passing the email, because we need just the email and password when you are logging in. All right, like this. Then when you are done, we get the rest dots. So we get the data once. Data going to be our weight, rest.json. Okay, then we check if rest.ok. If rest.ok, we are going to await a function that is called a check user login, which is going to so when you log in, it's going to return you the JWT tokens, which we don't know which user it belongs to. So we are going to use the check user logged in to get the user detail of the person that has logged in. Okay, check user logged in, but that one has not yet been implemented, so you are going to comment it out for the meantime. Then you are going to have an else statement that is going to above where our error is. Okay, so we're going to set auth error to data.detail. Okay, so that's where our errors are going to be kept. Okay, so that is it for the login function. The last one is going to be the logout. The last two is logout and clear user. So let's handle the logout. So same thing, have a rest that is going to call our next backend, which is going to be our wait, a fetch. Then that one to template string. Sorry, that is going to go to our next backend. Okay, slash logout. Did we create the file for that one? So inside our URL, our pages API, let's create a new file called logout.js. Okay, like that. Let's go back to our auth context. Then we are going to pass in our config once again. So it's always going to look like this. Copy. Let's just copy so I'll be fast a little bit. All right. Oh, it doesn't even need the headers. You need to go and copy anything. Okay, so with that one done, we are going to check if res.ok. If res.ok, we are going to set our user to null again because no user exists at that point. And later we are going to use Redux. So remove user from Redux. Yes. How do you even spell Redux? Okay, this is how you spell Redux. Okay, so that one is going to come in later. Okay, so let's go down and let's do with the last function, which is the clear user. So const on the rest, then oh sorry, we don't even need a clear user. The one we need is the check user logged in. Sorry about that. Check user logged in. Then you are going to await a fetch to the next backend. Oh shit! Sorry about my language. The next backend, sorry, /user. Okay, that's where. So we are going to create another API called user.js. All right. So we'll be writing those ones very soon. This one doesn't add any config. Okay, so let's undo that one. Then when we are done, we check if rest.ok. If rest.ok, we are going to get the data. Sorry. Okay, so when you check if it is okay, then we are going to get what's the name? We are going to await the rest.json. Then when we get the data out of it, you are going to set it to the user. So set user is going to be equal to data.user. Okay. So later we are going to switch to Redux, as I said. So set user to Redux. Okay. So let's just add this note, or else we are going to set user to null Redux. We are going to do that later, but here we are going to use our state, set it to null. Okay, start checking user logged in. This function has to be called somewhere. Okay, so now we can uncomment this guy over here, and this one is async because you are using an await inside it. Okay, so you have those things working out now. The last thing, let's add the clear user so that you guys see how it works. So the clear user is just sequence clear user. I decided to take it out for some reason, but let me add it for it to be complete. Okay, so the clear user is going to first clear user from Redux. So it's going to set user to now. All right, this is going to be. So this is everything for the context. So let's export the function that we have created, which is login, sign up, clear user, and logout. Okay, so those 4 things. So let me try refactoring and see if this thing doesn't jumble up. Oh, sorry, Shift F this way. Okay, now it's looking awesome. All right, so now the next thing that we are going to do, so it seems we are seeing some lot of patches. So where is this backend coming from? Where is this backend? The backend for sign up, backend for login, backend for logout. Where are they? So that is what we are going to work on. So we are going to start with the sign up as usual. Let me move it over here. Okay, so now let's move into writing the API, the serverless API for the sign up functionality. So in NextJS, for you to write an API, you just have to export a default function that is going to handle the functionality of the API. Okay, so like let's a sort of a view in Django, just export the view and it is going to attach the URL for you with the name of the file. Then they'll put it on the server that they spin in the back process for you. So I'm going to make it an async function. Then it's going to take in request. It takes in the request and the response. Okay, so if you have a knowledge about Express.js, it is quite simple to understand. So the first thing that I want is the URL to the backend. We can just use it as a string here, but you're going to need it here, and other places. So it is best to put it in a config so that whenever you want to change it, it's changed once. Okay, export the const, call it the backend. So that one is going to backend URL itself, not next URL, next backend URL. Okay, so that one is going to go to http / localhost got 8000. Okay, let me verify the 8000. Okay, that's it. Then when we are done, let's save. Then let's import in that backend URL. Okay, then first you are going to check if the request, so the request has a property called method that used to check if the type of request. So I'm going to check if it is a post. If it's a post, then we are going to have our functionality done. But if it is not, then we are going to return a rest.status. That is going to set the status code of 400. Then we add a .json, then add a message that rest, let's put it in because rest.method. So it's going to be dynamic. If it is a get put, it's not allowed for this particular endpoint. Okay, so let's save it. Then let's come here and write our functionality here. Okay, then so when you check the method and it is a post, we are going to continue along here. So first you are going to destructure. Oh, why am I getting 4 spaces again? Sorry about that, guys. Let me just change this thing quickly to 2. Move this thing. I want to have consistency. Okay, so now we are going to destructure some arguments out of our request body. So we are going to get out the name, the email, and the password. Then we are going to get it from the request body, just as I said. Then we are going to check so we are going to make a request to the backend, the API itself. So a request to the backend. So we are going to have our wait. Then we are going to use the fetch API again. Then this time around it goes to the backend itself. So backend URL /auth/user. Okay, then we are going to pass along some context. So method, then it's also going to be a post. Then we have headers. That is going to be content type, then dash type. That is going to be application /JSON. Okay, the last thing is going to be the body that goes along with it. So body, that's going to be a JSON.stringify. Then we pass along the email, name, and password. Okay, last thing, we continue const. We are going to get the data. Const data. That's going to be an await of rest.json, rest API JSON. Okay, then we check if rest API dot okay. They are going to return. We are going to send a rest.json. A rest.status equals 200. That is where we set our status code. If I didn't say that, sorry. Then we are adding along our data. All right. Then we return so that we break out of the function. Else, we are going to return a res.status of 400. Then we add the JSON, our data. Okay. Then also we return for that one too. All right. Let's save it. Okay, so even before we move ahead, I want to adjust some stuff. Let's not return this thing straight ahead. We are going to set res.allowed headers, res.set header. Going to set header, then add the allow, so that the one who made a request will be able to know which request method are allowed by our server or this endpoint, which is the post. Okay, then when you are done, we will return. Okay, so let's format. Sorry, let's format our code. So this is it. Okay, let's save it. So we are done with the login, the sign up part. Let's go to the login. The login has a lot of logic in there. So let's move there and get it done. Okay. So let's continue with the the login. So first, you are going to import our backend URL. So you see how important this is. You just have one declaration, you can use it anywhere, and whenever we deploy, you just change it once, and we don't have to go through all the individual files where we used it. Okay, so as I said, we are going to export a default function that is going to use as our function our route handler. So we're going to keep it on an async, taking request, take it to response, then function. So first, you're going to check the request.method, see whether it's equal to post. All right, so if it's not, you're going to set res.set header, then pass it to the allow. Sorry, if I can spell allow, then pass it to the function, the methods that are accepted, and return res.status of 400 .state.json. Sorry. Let's pass the message, and you are going to use template string. So res.method is not allowed. Is it? Then finally we return. Okay, let's jump here and do our. So first, you are going to make a request to the API that is going to be an await, to a fetch that is going to, taking our URL that is going to be this way. So back and URL slash. So the route is auth /jwt/create. That's kind of weird, but let's maintain it. Then the method is going to be a post. Then you are going to have headers. Are going to be content dash type application /JSON. Then you are going to add a body. That is going to be JSON or stringify. That is going to take in email and password. Right. So we have to get the email and password from the request body. So let's destructure email password from res.request.body. Right. Then we are going to check, const data is equal to await, because it returns a promise. So await res JSON. Then check if res.status res.ok. Okay, then you are going to do res.set. So let's leave the implementation of this place. So set server-side cookies, server-side tokens. Okay. Else, if it is else, then you are going to return res.status of 4.1, which is an authorization status code. That's JSON. Then we pass in the data. Okay. So here, how do we set the? So I said NextJS gives us a server that runs our front end. So we are going to leverage that one and use it to store our tokens instead of store it inside local storage, which can be accessed by JavaScript. But when you store it in the server-side token or server-side, you store it inside the server, it is not accessible by JavaScript. Okay, only the JavaScript on the server can access it. Okay, so we are going to use a package called cookies. So, or cookie, if that's the name, that's the right name. Cookie, the name is cookie. So let's add it to, so and yarn, if you are using npm, it's npm install cookie. Okay, so let's wait for it to be added quickly. It is done. That's fast. So first you are going to import in cookie from cookie. Okay, this way. When we are done, when we have the tokens from here, we are going to set the token that are going to be returned, if it is valid, is the refresh token and the access token. The refresh token expires in 24 hours and the access token expires in 1 minute or 3 minutes. Yes, I don't remember the actual time, but it's within that range. Okay, so I'm going to set those ones inside the server's tokens. Okay, so we do that with res.set header. Then you are going to pass it as a set dash cookie. Then we are going to pass it as array, because you are going to set two things. You are setting the refresh token and the access token. Okay, so you are going to set cookie dot serialize, then the name of the cookie, which is going to be refresh underscore token. Okay, underscore token. Then you are going to pass the data or the value, data dot refresh, the data being this object we are going to get here. Refresh, that's the name. Then we pass in some config about how long it should last and how secure it should be and how it should be accessed. So the most important thing we are going to set is HTTP only to true, so that only server, it is a server-side token. then set it to secure. So the secure, you are going to use the process.env.node.env. So if it is equal to production, if it's not equal to sorry, oh, what am I typing today? If not equal to development, it should be secure. Okay, so there's it. Then the max age, very important. So the max age is going to be 60. So 60 minutes times 60, oh no, 60 seconds times 60 minutes times 24. So that is going to be a whole day. Okay, if I'm right, 60 seconds, 60, okay, that's it. Yeah. The next thing is going to be same site. It's going to be strict. Then path is going to be to the index. Okay. Oh, sorry. All right. So with that one set, you have set the one for, you have set the cookie for the refresh token. So let's do what same for the access token. So let's copy this one down. So we are going to change this one to access _ token. This one is going to be access. Then this one is true, same. So this one is going to be 60 seconds. So I think it lasts for just 1 minute. Same size strict. Okay, so this is it. So when it's done, it's just going to send a rest.json, a rest.status. Let's add a status. I'm implicitly adding the status so that it becomes visible, but by default it add a JSON status of 200. Okay, then we return out of this function. All right. Okay, I hope you guys are following me. Okay, so that is it for the, what's the name, the logged in one. Okay, so we can close the sign up, closing login, closing app. Then let's come to the logout. When you're done, we do the user, then we call it a wrap for this video. Okay, so we are going to handle the logout. So the main essence of the logout is to take away the what's the name, the tokens that we set on the server. Okay, so we are going to import cookie. So import cookie from cookie. Oh, sorry, I can spell from. They are going to export a default async rec.res. They are going to set res.set header. So you see previously, oh, let me open the login. This is how we set in our token. So we are going to, let's copy this thing here because we are just going to make some few modifications to it. All right, so let's copy it, paste it here. Okay, so the modification you are going to make is that we are going to expire it ourselves by force. Instead of waiting for the 24 hours to get up, we are going to expire it ourselves. So we set this one to new.date. So if it expires, it takes it out of the, what's the name, it takes it out from the server. Okay, so set it to 0, which is going to expire it. Then we'll do the same for this guy too, but make sure the name is the same so that it overwrites the previous one. Okay, so, and the data, we set the data to empty, an empty string. Okay, all right. So let me add a comment here so that you guys understand. So remove all tokens. All right, so when you are done with that, we're going to return let's do a res.status of 204, which is content, empty content or something of that sort. I'm forgetting the name, but usually used for, what's the name, usually used for deleting. So when you make a delete, this is what you get, 204. Let's put empty. So before we go ahead, let's check the request type. So the request type should be request.method should be equals to post. We are going to do all this crazy, sorry. Let's move all this logic up here. Even this one too. Then let's return else rest.setHeader if you know what you're about to do. Okay, then we set it to allow the array of methods allowed. Okay, then we set to res.status. Even here you can use _3, so I see that it is the method that's not accepted. So _3 is more specific. Message request dot, sorry, let's use a template. So let's do this with method dot, so request dot method, it's not allowed. Okay, then we're done. Let's return. All right, so let's beautify our work. So there's it. Okay, so this is for the logout. So we are done with the logout. So the killer one is the user checking the current user that is logged in. It has a lot of logic in there. So let's brace up for impact. Okay, so let's go there. So the first thing I'm going to do, you're going to import our backend URL. Okay, and you are going to import cookie from cookie, sorry, this way. Okay, so let's export our default function that is going to be an async that is going to take in the request and the rest. Then, sorry, oh, if I can type, then we check if request dot method is equals to get. So here we are going to just use get method. If else, then you are going to res.setHeader. Set header, set it to allow taking an array that is going to be get. Then, sorry, taking res.status, let's be 403, let's use 403 again, JSON, pass in our message that is going to be method rec.method, sorry, Sorry. Trying to be faster, but since it won't allow me to go, it's not allowed. All right. Return. So the next thing I'm going to check that if the request.header has, so if we set the, when we log in and we set in the header, and we set the header for the token, it is going to be on the request.header. Okay, so when we come here, we check for request.header, request.headers, sorry, .cookie. Okay, so if you check and it does not exist, it means that the person is not even logged in. So we can return a rest.status, then give it a 4.3. No, let's use 4.1, like 4.1 instead. Means the person is not logged in at all. So JSON, then let's return a message of not authorized. Then let's return. Okay. Then if it exists, then we can destructure some things. We can destructure the refresh token and the access token from it. So first I'm going to try and get the refresh token. So for us to be able to get access to the refresh token, we have to pass in the cookie object on the header. So it's going to be passed by the cookie dot pass. Then we pass in the request dot header dot cookie. Then we are going to check if the what's the name, the refresh token exists. If there's a refresh token, if no refresh token exists, it means that the person has logged out probably. So rest.status, so it's also going to do the same thing as this guy over here. So let's copy it, the same thing. Okay, then the next thing I'm going to do is get the access token, but I want us to get it here. Let's make it more nicer. Access token this way. Okay, so we are going to check if, so I told you the access token expires in 1 minute. So we want to check if the access token exists. If it does not exist and we have a refresh token, it means that we can get a new one from the server again. Okay, so you're going to write a function that is going to refresh the token. That is what it is called. Getting a new access token is the process of refreshing your token. Okay, so you're going to check if not access token, it means that maybe that's expired. Okay, if you have a refresh token and there's no access token, the probability there's 99% that this thing has expired. That's why it has been taken off the server. So the next thing is to get so we are going to refresh token, refresh the access. If not, if it exists, that means that we have it, so we can go ahead. Oh, sorry, we don't need any else. Sorry, we can go ahead and make our request to the API. Sorry, REST API. I'll wait, fetch, then to the back end URL, let's go to /user/me. Okay, I hope we didn't say user over here. Okay, we didn't even need it over here. So it's users/me. Don't forget the last n slash or Django cry. Then we are going to set the method to a get, because that's what it's going to be. Then we set the header as content. Sorry guys, and content type as application slash JSON. Then authorization authorization. So the reason I'm not using a quote around this one is because I'm using a quote around this one because of the dash. Okay, JavaScript won't be able to handle it. So call it token, and we add our access token to it. So going to be access token. Okay. Then we are going to wait for if REST API dot OK, that means that we have our user, so we're going to get it once user, get it from the await of REST.json REST API, sorry. We are going to return a REST.status of 200.json of our user. All right. Then finally we return the user. I will tell you why we are returning the user here later. Okay. Else we are going to, there's even a very low probability that we will get here. Okay, so let's status of 41 dot JSON. Okay, so there's it. So now we are stuck. This is the only part that is left, the refreshing of the token. So let's say we got here and we don't have any token. What we have to do is to check is to refresh the token, and now reassigning to access token. Then it's continuous, the process. Okay, all right, so let's get into the process of refreshing the token. Okay, so okay, so let me not clear it, let me leave it there. We are going to call the process of refreshing. The process that is going to return us our access token is going to be the rest refresh. I have bad refresh rest, so like a request to refresh our token. So I'll wait refresh token. They are going to pass along it the request and the rest, because it's going to get it from our header, then return it back to us. Okay, and it's going to get the request, what's the name, the refresh token from the header, and when it is done, it is going to set the current access token that has been gotten to our response. That's why we are passing it along. Okay. So when you are done, you're going to check for if refresh, then we are going to set access token equals to refresh rest, then else return a rest.status of 41.json, then message, sorry, Oh, not authorized. Okay. So it seems we have an error somewhere. Where is it? Okay, so this thing here has to be wrapped in. Okay, this way. With that one done, we need to write the function for this one, not refresh token. Okay, so we are going to put it here. Let's put it here. So refresh underscore token dot .js. You can actually keep it anywhere you like, but I just want to keep it there. Okay, so let's jump into that file. First, we are going to import the backend URL. You see how we are using the backend URL in so many places. Then we are going to import in our cookie package from cookie. Then we are going to export a default async that is going to take in requests and REST. Okay, so first it's going to check if, so it's going to have three conditions. So there are three places that are going to call it. So it's going to check if request dot method is equal to get, or request dot URL is equal to /API/payment, which we are going to implement later. Sorry, this is not supposed to be comma. Okay, pipe, double pipe. The last one is going to be add comment. Press .url /API/add. Okay, this way. So these are just the three conditions. Oh, sorry, I just want to factor this thing. Okay. Hope you guys can see it clearer now. Okay, then if else you are going to add our, as you know, we are just going to return nothing, so else just return. Okay, so first you are going to check if request dot header, so headers dot cookie. If not, just return. So we can make it simpler. Then this way, then const, going to get in our refresh token. So here, only the refresh token is important to us. So cookie dot pass rec dot headers dot cookie. Okay, so it seems we made a mistake here. Okay, with that one done, we are going to check if refresh token. Sorry. If refresh token. If not refresh token, sorry. Okay. Then if it is able to pass all that place, then we are going to make a request to the backend to get our new access token. Let's say API, call it await, fetch. Then, sorry, backend URL /auth /jwt /refresh. Okay. Okay, so we're going to have a method of post, then headers, sorry, I'm going to have your content type, application /JSON. Okay. The last thing is the body. That's going to be JSON stringify passing refresh. Sorry, this can be refresh passing a refresh token. Okay. When it is done, we're going to check if rest.ok, it's API.ok. If this, we are going to get our data out of it through await dot rest API dot JSON. Then we are going to use our set header. Sorry, set header. Set header. So we are going to set a cookie, set /cookie. Then we're going to do cookie dot serialize. This time around, we are just passing one. So the name is going to be access underscore token. Okay. Access underscore token. Then we have the data as data dot access. We are going to pass in the expiry details. So the expiry details are going to be like the previous one, just like these ones. I just copy it. Okay. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like. Then when you are done, you are going to return. Sorry. Oh, if I can spell, return data. So it seems you are out of data.access. Else, you're going to return nothing. Okay, so this is how you are going to refresh our tokens. So let me beautify it a little bit. So there's it. So I can see everything clearer. Okay, so let's save it. With that one out of the way, I think we are done for the auth context. The only thing left is for us to use it in our underscore app.js. So this is the main component or that is going to be run first, okay, before the other components are injected, okay, or the pages are injected. So we are going to use our auth context over here. So first you are going to import it in. So import auth. So we had to export the auth context provider from the auth context file. So we are going to do that. So this thing over here, we are supposed to export it. Okay. So we are exported it as a default over here. Okay, so in the process of recreating this, we made a little mistake. So this one is going to be the provider that is going to be wrapped around all the components. Okay, and this one is going to be just the context. Okay, so we are going to export this one too. Export. So let's export that one. Then let's save it. Then let's go back here. So auth context. If I can spell well, I think I need some auto imports for me. Auth context provider. Okay, so it has been imported for me. Then we need the auth context itself, but we are not going to use it right now. So let's just use the provider to wrap around. So this is the main thing that is going to be returned. That is the pages. So we are going to wrap it inside this React auth context template. Okay, so this is how you are going to go about it. Let's put this one. Let me cut it for the meantime. Then let me context provider. You put this one inside in the middle like this. Okay. All right. So that is it for the first part, which is the auth context. When you are done, when in the next video, you are going to deal with the UI for login, sign up and sign out, the functionality, so that you see it in the UI. Okay. So with that one said, Trade Dev, I want to sign out from this episode. Catch you in the next one. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and like the video. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.